and the new musical film about Michael Jackson has stormed the worldwide box office, scoring the highest opening weekend ever for a biopic. The singer's nephew, Jafar Jackson, portrays him in Michael, which has taken 217 meters, L's and 160 meters globally since it opened on Wednesday.
At least 42 people have been killed and 10 injured in fighting between rival ethnic groups in eastern Chad in a conflict that began as a dispute over a water well. Officials say the conflict in Wadi Fira province, initially between two families, is said to have escalated into a cycle of reprisal attacks that spread over a wide area, with villages burned down.
And Ukrainian officials say Russian drones have again attacked the southern port city of Odessa, injuring at least 11 people, including 2 children, and damaging homes and important infrastructure. Odessa Governor Oleg Kuiper said the attack affected 3 districts, hitting residential buildings, vehicles and civilian facilities, including a hotel, warehouses and funicular railway. Windows shattered in many buildings and the port area sustained damage.
The race to secure electricity for AI models has reached new heights. Meta has signed an agreement with the startup Overview Energy that could see 1,000 satellites beam infrared light to solar farms that power data centers at night. In 2024, Meta's data centers used more than 18,000 gigawatt hours of electricity, roughly enough to power more than 1.7 million American homes for a year. And its need for compute power is only increasing. The company has committed to building 30 gigawatts of renewable power sources with a focus on industrial-scale solar power plants.
The Balochistan government has announced a major healthcare initiative by declaring the computerized National Identity Card, CNIC, as a Balochistan health card to expand access to medical services across the province. Chief Minister Mir Sarfraz Bugti said the move aims to provide state-of-the-art healthcare facilities to residents, making treatment more accessible and efficient.
And the Punjab government has extended the enforcement of Section 144 across the province for another 30 days, continuing a complete ban on the use of drones in open spaces due to security concerns. According to a Home Department notification, the restriction on outdoor drone usage will remain in effect until May 25. Authorities imposed the extension to maintain public safety, protect sensitive installations, and prevent potential security threats.
Samsung saw a temporary disruption at one of its domestic semiconductor facilities after workers reportedly skipped shifts during a labour protest. Reuters reported chipset production at the site fell by 58% during the disruption, while memory production declined by 18%.
And Punjab Education Minister Rana Sikandar Hayat has responded to reports suggesting that the Friday holiday in schools could be made permanent. Clarifying the government's position, the minister said the Friday holiday will not be made permanent and will be abolished in the coming weeks. He added that the provincial government is in discussion with the federal government regarding its withdrawal. And PTA taxes for importing older and used mobile phones in Pakistan have increased for a few brands, including Samsung, OnePlus, Apple and Google. This is due to the Federal Board of Revenue, FBR, increasing determined import taxes on these phones. We at Pro-Pakistani have calculated the newly increased PTA taxes charged on the Samsung Galaxy S23 series. Below is a comparison between the old taxes updated in January 2026 and today.
Britain's King Charles and Queen Camilla will arrive in the United States later on Monday for a 4-day trip, a tour which has taken on even greater prominence after the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting and amid acrimony between the close allies. The state visit, by far the most high-profile and consequential of Charles' reign, marks the 250th anniversary of the US Declaration of Independence from British rule and is the first visit to the country by a British monarch for 2 decades. Pakistan and China on Monday signed 3 memoranda of understanding (MOUs) to strengthen bilateral cooperation in water desalination, agricultural technology and the tea industry. President Asif Ali Zardari, who is on a week-long visit to China until May 1, witnessed the signing of the MOUs between Pakistani and Chinese entities. The MOUs reflect a focused effort to advance practical collaboration in key sectors. Actor Sabina Farouk wants to know if public servants should stop doing their jobs if they don't subscribe to the politics of whoever is in power. Her question was in response to a video of former TV host and newly minted politician Iqrar al-Hassan confronting an immigration officer he claims pointed at him while he was in line at Lahore airport and said, "He'll be ridiculed like Jawad Ahmed." He was referring to the popular singer who launched an unsuccessful stint in electoral politics in 2019.
And maritime authorities are warning of an increased threat to ships off the coast of Somalia after a cargo ship became the latest vessel to be seized in a suspected act of piracy. The UK Maritime Trade Operations, UKMTO, raised the threat level in the area to substantial as it reported unauthorised persons seized the vessel and redirected it to Somalia's territorial waters on Sunday.
East Darfur, Sudan, Hawa Adam did not expect a childhood illness to kill her son. Ali was 2 years old when he fell sick on February 25 in Labado, in Sudan's East Darfur state. He died 2 days later. "I thought it was one of the ordinary childhood diseases," the 37-year-old told Al Jazeera. "I never imagined I would lose my child to this epidemic." Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has arrived in Russia for talks with President Vladimir Putin as Tehran intensifies diplomatic efforts to end the United States-Israel war on Iran. Upon his arrival on Monday, Araghchi told Iranian media that he had traveled to Russia with the aim of continuing close consultations between Tehran and Moscow on regional and international issues. North Korea has opened a memorial museum in Pyongyang for its soldiers killed while fighting alongside Russian forces in the war in Ukraine, in the clearest sign yet of how central the conflict has become to the growing alliance. The inaugural ceremony at the Memorial Museum of Combat Feats at the Overseas Military Operations was held on Sunday. It also marked the first anniversary of what the two countries describe as the end of an operation to liberate Russia's Kursk border region from a Ukrainian incursion, the state-run Korean Central News Agency KCNA reported on Monday.
And the Bangladesh Cricket Board, BCB, has confirmed a 15-member squad for the first test against the Pakistan national cricket team, set to begin on May 8 at Dhakar's Sher-e-Bangla National Cricket Stadium as part of the 2025-27 ICC World Test Championship. Najmul Hossain Shanto will continue as captain, with Mehdi Hassan Miraz named as his deputy for the series opener.
FIFA is in discussions with national associations to increase prize money for all 48 teams participating in the FIFA World Cup 2026. As the organisation moves forward from a position of record financial strength, the proposal will need approval at Tuesday's FIFA Council meeting, which is being held ahead of the 76th FIFA Congress in Vancouver.
And the Rawalpindi District Administration has reopened PR Wadai Ada and restored all related transport services days after the bus terminal was kept shut despite the wider reopening of the city's transport network. In a fresh update, the Deputy Commissioner Rawalpindi announced that PR Wadai Ada had also been reopened, marking a full restoration of transport operations in the city. And smartphone makers frequently promote stronger display glass with each new generation. One release may focus on improved drop resistance, while the next emphasizes better scratch protection. Although these upgrades can be real, materials experts note that durability improvements often involve trade-offs rather than major overall leaps. Gaining improvement on one side often results in losing the other. And the 46th edition of the London Marathon marked a notable showing for Pakistani runners, with more than 30 participants from Pakistan and the global diaspora producing a series of disciplined and competitive performances. UK-based Abdullah Muhammad Athar emerged as the fastest Pakistani 26, completing the race in 2:39.53. His performance was defined by steady pacing and a well-executed race strategy.
Tremors were felt in Islamabad and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa on Monday as an earthquake of 5.7 magnitude struck the Afghanistan-Tajikistan border region. The Pakistan Meteorological Department, PMD, said in a statement, the PMD said the quake was recorded at 11:46 a.m. It added that the epicenter was located near Afghanistan's border with Tajikistan and had a depth of 170 kilometers. A California man accused of storming a gala dinner attended by President Donald Trump was to appear in court on Monday over a shooting that marks the latest spasm of political violence in deeply divided America. Administration officials said the suspect in Saturday night's shocking attack apparently aimed to kill Trump and senior officials at the press dinner in a Washington hotel, in what would be the third attempt on the president's life in 2 years. We're like a red rag to the enemy because we're taking the war to their territory so that they feel it too, the Ukrainian soldier says, as his unit scrambled to assemble long-range drones for launch at Russia. Ukraine has been intensifying its deep strikes like this for several weeks, targeting oil export facilities, in particular, like never before.
Oil prices have risen after plans for a second round of peace talks between the US and Iran stalled again. Brent, the global benchmark, rose by nearly 2%, 7.26, Dell 79.25 a barrel, while US traded crude was up by 1% at 95.40 cents. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and Russian Defense Minister Andriy Belousov have unveiled a memorial in Pyongyang for North Koreans who have died fighting in the Ukraine war. Military jets flew overhead and white balloons were released into the air as Kim and Belousov unveiled a statue and opened a memorial museum.
Mali's defence minister has been killed in an apparent suicide truck bombing on his residence near the capital Bamako. Multiple news outlets reported the death of Sadio Kamara, part of a wave of coordinated attacks by jihadist militants and separatists carried out across the country.
And the man arrested after shots were fired inside the hotel where the White House Correspondents' Dinner was being held on Saturday night has been named by law enforcement officials as Cole Tomas Allen. The 31-year-old suspect is from Torrance in the Los Angeles region, California.
Global military spending surged by almost 3% in 2025, fueled largely by ballooning defence expenditures in Europe and Asia, according to a report released Monday by a respected arms watchdog group. European 14% from 2024 to $864 billion, and in Asia-Oceania the increase was 8.1% to $681 billion. The Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, SIPRI, said in its annual Trends in World Military Expenditure report.
And Britain's King Charles III and Queen Camilla are travelling to the United States for what is anticipated to be the most significant overseas visit of his reign to date. The state visit coincides with the 250th anniversary of the US declaring independence and the original 13 colonies breaking away from British rule under King George III.